you look over my left shoulder, you'll see my predicted standings for this season that just started last night. You'll notice Winnipeg, I don't have them in a playoff spot. And based on last night, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to say, see, we told you Winnipeg sucks. Here's the problem. Nobody thought Steve Mason was going to be a Vezina winner, right? So Philly last night, on the heels of, thanks to a hat trick by Wayne Simmons, they find themselves on the winning side of a road game to start the year, and Philly needs some feel good at the start of the year. Winnipeg didn't get that against Toronto. By all accounts, the game was under Winnipeg's control until that first goal by Toronto, and then it all fell apart. This doesn't change anything, in my eyes. But the question I got a lot last night during the live stream was, what is going to happen with Maurice? How long would it take? How many games will it take before Maurice's job is in trouble? And I honestly don't think it would take that many. But is it too early to talk about this? Absolutely. Is it worth talking about? Probably, yeah. The Jets' issue last year was not scoring. Their scoring was fantastic. Mark Scheifele is a premier forward in the league. He was top 10 in scoring last year. So if anybody wants to argue that he wasn't a premier scorer in the league, they weren't paying attention. Lane's an up-and-coming star. Blake Wheeler's pretty damn consistent in terms of being a top point producer in the league. And on the blue line, Dustin Byfuglien is also very consistent and is capable of playing forward if he needs to. He's a very versatile player. The problem really came down to their blue line and their goaltending. And where I've struggled this year is, I agree that Mason is an upgrade over Hellebuck for how Hellebuck played last year. I don't know how much. Because what I saw in Philly last year was a team that was ready to ditch both goalies, decided at the end of the year, we'll give Neuwirth another shot, we'll ditch Mason. They go out, they get Elliott from the Flames, and I honestly think that was one of the smarter moves made when the rotating goaltenders happened. Now, of course, it probably doesn't help Mason that Mike Smith had a fantastic game for Calgary last night. Yes, they lost, but it wasn't the goaltending that lost them the game. So, Winnipeg is still a team that hasn't made the playoffs in a while, and when they did make the playoffs, they got swept. They are still that team. But at the same time, I do think there should be improvement this year. And while last night's game was, a high-five fest for all Maple Leafs fans everywhere, it is one game. And there are plenty of cases where teams have got off to a good start, including the Maple Leafs, and then ended up missing the playoffs later on. So, is it important to win early? Absolutely. That can help a coach keep his job. Is it vital? Nah. Not until you're about... Like if the Jets ended up, say, 4, 5, 6, somewhere in that range of a losing streak to start the season, yeah. Yeah. And if they don't show any improvement over last year, there's an issue. And it won't take long for that panic button to be hit in Winnipeg. But I really, again, think that Winnipeg is a team to watch. And it's easy to pick on them today. I'm not going to. But Steve Mason. Because the problem, too, is that, Pavlich moved on to New York. You got Hellebuck as a backup. Comrie's not ready yet, as far as all indications seem to show. Or, he may be ready next year. So, if Mason continues to struggle, if this is a sign that Mason's confidence is going to be an issue this year, where do they turn? Where does Winnipeg turn? And that's the question. That's the issue that I have. That's one of the reasons why I have them here. And I have a hard time pulling them out of that spot. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. If you're a Winnipeg fan, tell me, how far does this go before you say, all right, now we can panic? Obviously, it's not after game 1. And hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.